The film Do the Right Thing is set on a single block in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. It embodies a place for tolerance and tension where the community is heating up on the hottest day of the year. The general lighting has an orange tinge that is presented throughout the film. This enhances the feeling of the heat, including the audience as well. A quote from Lee directly references this, saying that he, quote, wanted audience to feel the heat and, quote, be sweating. He also added that this hot glow effect was created by having a, quote, butane lighter underneath the lens, which looks really cool. The costume palette is colourful, loud, and also minimal, emphasising the heat. For the younger characters, the outfits are playful and resemble the 80s. In contrast, the older characters, such as Demare, are more reserved. There is an emphasis on sports attire with a specific interest in Nike or Jordan sneakers. The young African American kids are also seen to be wearing African themed necklaces and pendants, showing their connection to their heritage and that they're proud of it. The film score is written by Spike Lee's father, jazz composer and musician Bill Lee. There's a massive incorporation of both historical traditional jazz and contemporary genres of rap, hip-hop and R&B. This also shows the connection with the African American culture. The first scene, once Mookie gets off the phone, is between Mookie and Pino. It is set in Sal's famous pizzeria, the local hangout. The dominant colours are green and red that reflect the Italian aesthetics of the pizzeria. When Mookie and Pino move to the cigarette machine for privacy, there is a painting of the Colosseum, further highlighting the strong Italian relationship of the place. The costumes of Mookie and Pino are similar colours, although contrasting in comfort. Mookie is youthful, wearing a baseball shirt with the name of an African American player on it. He's not working, so he's very comfortable. Pino is, however, wearing a white singlet, white pants, and with an apron and a gold chain. This is more reflecting his work attire and engagement with his family. Mookie is also wearing an African necklace and also a car watch. The watch perhaps symbolises his young age and also respect for his heritage for the African necklace. Both their skin is glistening in the light from Pino's work and also from Mookie being outside. This could be highlighting the difference in skin colour, as Mookie then mentions Pino's hair being kinkier and suggesting that he may want to be black. The lighting in the pizzeria is presented with high key lighting with hard light. The key light source originates from the diegetic sun from the shop front window, with fill lights from the shop's interior. This lighting can be used to build and highlight tension, as the shadows are dramatic and the characters are close. When they are over at the cigarette machine, the lighting is from the shop window again, and it is from the side direction. The hard light quality emphasizes the intensity of the heat outside. The staging and performance that encompasses Mookie is quite laid back, and there is little aggression until the fourth wall break scene. Pino uses hands a lot, which is emblematic and stereotypical of his Italian background, and then Mookie does imitate these hand movements later. Pino is shown vulnerable and can be seen to be put in the corner of the conversation when Mookie suggests that he might actually want to be black. His character encapsulates the racism and tension, and that is a point for the violence to come. He feels like his family does not belong in the neighbourhood and is frustrated with the increasing acceptance of the community.
Mookie and Pino are accompanied by a non-diegetic soundtrack during their conversation. Evidently, Lee was able to have inserted ambient sounds into the environment in which the pizzeria portrays. However, Lee had incorporated elements of smooth jazz into the scene, looking back to cultural significance. The genre of jazz is recognized as a culture and historical form of African American music. Through this, jazz and its overall feel can particularly focus on expressions and interaction between fellow musicians. Through this, we're able to identify and compare both instruments to the track to Mookie, being the tenor saxophone, and Pino as the piano, as they have their little back and forth conversations, which can be compared to jazz improvisation. For the mise-en-scene, for lighting, within each shot of the scene, all components of lighting carry high key lighting, which also incorporates various intensities of soft light quality. The only notable difference between key light is the scenes is based on the origin of the light and location, based on whether it originates from outside or inside. Going to shot one of Mookie, looking at the aspects of staging and performance, Mookie's body language displays negativity through the positioning in which Lee wanted Mookie to be portrayed within the scene. However, Mookie does not appear to be threatening or aggressive, but is shown as more hostile. This is possibly due to the fact that Mookie may be fed up with Pino's ideologies and attitude from the conversations in the previous scene. During this rant, Mookie's dialogue is referring to Italians, which in this case can suggest how Mookie feels overall about Pino and or Italians, or alternatively, how Lee wanted to make his audience feel while viewing the scene. A cultural stereotype in which Mookie ends his speech is which could hone in on more cultural backgrounds and influences. Within shot 2 of Pino, Turturro's performance of playing Pino is more of an aggressive and intimidating feel rather than compared to how Mookie is displayed as hostile. After the camera stops moving, Pino leans into the camera. His body language and aggression in his words can be said to focus on the frustration and hatred in which the confrontation holds. As previously seen in Mookie's shot, Pino also directly insults both Mookie and African Americans in general, ending his part of his speech with stereotypical insults aimed to target their cultural backgrounds with words such as Mulganan, Spade, and Titson. And as the conversation between both Mookie and Pino are filled with hate and direct insults towards one another. Moving on to shot 3 with Stevie. Within the shot of Stevie, Lee's reinforcement of the heat can be identified through Stevie's red shorts and partly red shirt backed up against the stairs of the apartment building, which is also painted red. Luis Antonio Ramos's performance of Stevie is also aggressive, just like Pino and Mookie's. However, Stevie holds his body in a stance in a way which indicates that he is ready to fight anyone who wants to mess with him. The words he uses and his use of body language and movement within the scene all indicates his aggressive style. An example of this is when Stevie looks at the camera up and down, as if he is heavily judging someone and saying bullshit. The general theme of which Mookie racially attacks Italians, followed by Pino verbally attacking African Americans, is followed by Stevie attacking Koreans. This would only strengthen the theme and audience belief in which the next few shots of the characters would also incorporate the same style of verbal abuse towards whichever culture. Going to shot 4, looking at Officer Gray. Within this shot, there is a break within this pattern. We get to watch Officer Gray, played by Rick Aiello, abuse Puerto Ricans. However, within Officer Gray's movements are very extra in a way, animating his movements so that his whole upper body and head enters the conversation, highlighting his character as something special. Through the officer's uniform, we're able to tell that his character is slightly flawed as his uniform is unbuttoned. He's also suffering from the theme of heat as he has a hard time squinting and is evidently not enjoying the sun. The prop of a police baton in his hands also shows his character may be tough and ready to clean up the bad neighborhood if he needs to do so. This shot is used to foreshadow Officer Gray's violent future within the movie during the riot scene. Moving to shot 5. Within the next shot, Sonny, the owner of the Korean store, is portrayed as Steve Park. As Sonny is positioned outside of his store, he is easily identifiable as being a more mature and conservative character within the movie, suggested by the costume in which he is using. Sonny's shot begins when he is attacking himself, however, later moves on to attacking other groups such as Jews. However, the use of this dialogue is to represent how distressed he and his family is by everyone is threatening him. Moving on to Love Daddy, playing Mr. Senor Love Daddy, Samuel L. Jackson's electric character is a powerful character on this block. Through his costume design of bright party shorts, heavily influenced African American themed necklaces, and his sunglasses, Love Daddy's character easily portrays where his character lies within the community and the power and position within it. Through this shot, Love Daddy breaks the theme of digging into a certain ethnicity, but in fact targets everyone in the community as a whole and not just a single group. Spike Lee's stylistic choices on the motive of rap is evidently chosen to highlight rhythmic deliverance of each character's speech within the scene. Overall, the diegetic sound can be heard within each shot to humanize the overall scene. Traffic can be heard in Mookie, Sonny, and Stevie's scenes, while the police radio can be heard in the background from inside the police cruiser. In addition, as Love Daddy's chair comes to a rolling stop in front of his table, this is also audible. Without Pino's shot, we are also able to identify the juice machine working in the background as well as the non-diegetic sounds of the cameraman as he moves within the scene, which is interestingly kept in the shot by Lee himself.
Radio Raheem's Love and Hate Scene, mise-en scene, and film song. Radio Raheem's costuming is a colorful, decorated t-shirt that read "Bad Stewie, do or die." It symbolizes the connection between him and the community, as well as the military camouflage shorts he have been wearing, showing the audience a straightforward, very aggressive nature. Obviously, the pendant of African element is also hung on his neck, just like any other young people here. Another critical item is pair of the love and hate knuckle rings he has always wore on his hand. This represents how he sees the world to exist as a content battle between love and hate. Combining the meaning of love and hate for him, we see that when he lowers the volume of music to welcome Mookies, he uses the hand of love. However, when he presents it before entering the pizza shop, he uses the hand of hate. For Radio Raheem, love is about his relationship with people of his own race, and hate is for those who don't. Radio Raheem's most typical props in the film is his boom box, which is the most valuable property for him. As long as he plays, he will always take it whenever he goes. This boom box has become his symbol and extension. It is also the source of Radio Raheem's diegetic sound motif, Public Enemy's Fight the Power, which calls for African Americans to unite and against the systematic racism they suffered, thus proving Raheem's strong feeling about institutional racism. For the Radio Raheem at Stars famous film sound, mise en scène. For the film sound, regarding of the sound of the movie, the volume of the Radio Raheem speaker increased as he approached to the pizzeria and reached a disturbing level as he entered the store. The lyrics "against the power" repeat over and over again until he submit his dissatisfaction and shut it down. Again, illustrate his resistance to other race, hatred, and superiority. For lighting, Radio Raheem is the most significant physical presence in the film. He is a dominated figure, demonstrated in his scene. The lighting of this scene is very similar to that of the first scene we analyzed as we are back in the pizzeria again. The key light, which is the diegetic source of the shop front window, side lights Radio Raheem's face from screen right, creating a highlight across his forehead and left cheek, placing emphasis of his sweat, thus again reinforcing for the audience the heat of the day and the camera language. In this scene, Radio Raheem is still dominating figure and promoting the plot. From the very beginning of this vision, Radio Raheem, accompanied by noisy music from far to near, a pullback dolly will transform to the objective shot into a subjective shot. Use an elevation angle from SAR's point of view to let the audience come to the scene and face the powerful and aggressive Radio Raheem, showcasing the stubbornness, rejection, and contempt of all other country that Radio Raheem is immersed in his own world. SAR, although shot below Radio Raheem, a seemingly weaker position, asserts his authority as owner of this store, shouting and waving his arms, demonstrating his frustration and anger for Radio Raheem's music.